They had food, drinks, games, and Christmas gifts. After eating and playing games, it was time to start tasting and judging. First up was my mom. She baked a strawberry shortcake. Second was my grandmother. She baked oatmeal raisin cookies. Third was my aunt Keisha. She baked chocolate turtle brownies. Last was my dad, the man who never cooks anything, the man who burns water, the man who never had participated in the Christmas dessert bake-off. He baked a 7-Up pound cake. All of the desserts were really good, but the 7-Up pound cake that my dad baked had me at a loss for words. The texture of the 7-Up pound cake was just right. It was moist, it was firm, and it was very flavorful. Needless to say, my dad's 7-Up pound cake made from scratch won first place in the dessert bake-off. Statistics show that 14% more men cook now than they did in 1965, and the number is steadily climbing. After my dad won the bake-off, he became very full of himself, and he was baking 7-Up pound cakes for everybody. So it was to the point where he was making 2 and 3 pound cakes every single weekend. So one day I decided to call my dad and get the recipe so I could bake my own, because he never had time to bake me one because he was baking everybody else one. So my dad would not give me the recipe, y'all. He told me that it was classified information. I thought that he was joking, but he was just proud because he had baked something and people actually liked it. I went online to find the recipe, and there are so many different 7-Up pound cake recipes. I found one recipe that looked similar to the ones that my dad was using. When I made the pound cake that I saw online, it was good, but it just wasn't the same. When I was thinking about what I wanted to do for my demonstration speech, I couldn't really think of anything. I ended up calling my dad to see if he had any ideas, and he told me that I should bake a 7-Up pound cake. And at first I was puzzled because the first time I called him to get the recipe, he told me that it was classified information. So he gave me the recipe and told me that he wanted me to make a good grade on my demonstration speech. So the pound cake is a British creation made of 1 pound. Now this is 1 pound of each. 1 pound of butter, 1 pound of sugar, 1 pound of eggs, 1 pound of flour. But it would have been very large and it would feed multiple families. As the years went by, the portions of the ingredients were adjusted to make a smaller and lighter pound cake, but the name ended up sticking. So I'm going to demonstrate how to make it. I'm not very fluent at it because this is only my second time making it, but I still want y'all to try it. So first you preheat the oven to 350. And this right here is a bundt cake pan. And you'll grease and flour the bundt cake pan, but I use just regular cooking spray, and I spray the pan, and then I use regular all-purpose flour, and I just dip my fingers in there, and I just kind of, so the cake won't stick. The ingredients are 1.5 cups of soft butter, 3 cups of sugar. Here's my sugar. 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. You can use the regular lemon juice, but I just like squeezing the lemon for some reason. And 3 cups of all-purpose flour, and 3/4 cups of 7-Up soda. Now this is like the Food Line brand. 7-Up is called Mountain Line, but they all taste the same. To me, they do anyway. And 5 large eggs. And you'll need 1.5 cups of confectioner's sugar. And this is for the glaze. And you'll also need lemon juice. And then 1 tablespoon of 7-Up soda. And so in a large bowl, you'll put all the ingredients in, but you're doing it one at a time. So, because you don't want it all clunky. So it's the butter, sugar, eggs, lemon juice. You can use vanilla, but you don't have to. It's not going to take away. Flour, and then the 7-Up. So you pour the batter into the bundt pan. I usually just mix it with something like this. You don't need no whisk or no egg beater or nothing like that. Nothing special. And when you pour it into the bundt pan, I usually have like a rack so I don't lay it directly on the oven rack. It'll be like lifted up a little bit, and I just put the pan on the rack. And then in my small bowl, while the 7-Up pound cake is baking for an hour, I'll go ahead and make my glaze. So for the glaze, you put the confectioner's sugar, the lemon juice, and then 7-Up. You can really put as much 7-Up as you want to, but you just don't want it really runny. And when the cake is done after an hour, of course, you poke it with a toothpick to make sure it's done, because some ovens get hotter than others. And I use a fork or either a butter knife for the glaze to glaze it on the cake, because if you use a spoon, it's gonna be like globs of glaze. And so you want to allow the cake to completely cool before you drizzle, because if not, it won't be no drizzle on it. It's gonna absorb all inside the cake. There are more than 60 pound cake recipes, and the 7-Up pound cake will always be my favorite, and I hope that you'll enjoy.